Alright, I just went to AutoZone and I'm going to change my O2 sensors. For those of you who don't know, the O2 sensor is mounted usually by a catalytic converter. In this case, I have two of them on this engine. There's an upstream and a downstream. Upstream is the one that's closest to the engine. Downstream is the one closest to the tailgate, to the tailpipe, the end of the vehicle. And one was getting out of range, so I said, well, geez, kind of like headlights, you know, if you're going to change one, you don't just change one, you change both. Just like on a throttle body, you change all. And in this case, with this vehicle and its mileage, it was just time. So this is what I recommend. And this applies to 98 to 2001, I believe. I think it's all the same on those. This particular one is a 2001 Dodge Ram B3500. Dodge Ram van B3500. And I think it applies to 98 to 2001. They're really easy. What I recommend is take some WD-40 and spray it first. Alright, so here's what you need. It's a 7/8 wrench. You want to get a good wrench. You want a little bit of leverage to it. Two sensors, a little bit of water to drink, e-cig, keys. Make sure those are in the pocket. You don't want to lock yourself out. Here's something I definitely wanted to share. When I crawl underneath my vehicle, it's really nice because it's so high in the air. I mean, look at my knee. My knee comes to the bottom of it, you know? I like to have something to lay on. I'm one of those people that like to be clean. I like to keep my hands clean. I haven't worn rubber gloves, but I would be one of those mechanics that would if I had to work on a car all day long. But this came from like a TV package for a flat screen TV. I found it in the alley one day and decided, hey, I need that. That'd be great for sliding underneath the vehicle with. And it does. It slides under. You can see it's been used a few times, but it slides underneath there. You don't have to worry about getting your shirt or your clothes dirty, or if you're over a puddle of water or oil or ants or who knows what. It just makes things easier. It's always good to be on the lookout of something like that if you don't have one. Piece of cardboard works, any old thing. Always do it when your car's cold. It's just so much easier to do it while your car is cold. Less chance of burning yourself. And as for the connections, if you put them in when it's hot, that has a different effect on the metals. Once you get it in there, just snug it up just a little bit, and it's good. You want to make sure you don't get the upstream and downstream mixed up because they are different numbers. First thing you want to do is check the electrical connection. There's no sense unscrewing the old one or putting the new one in until you check that electrical connection. Some vehicles have California emissions, and in that case the plug's going to be a little bit different and it's not going to fit in there. So make sure you realize that. This particular model has a VIN code Z, which specifies it's not California emissions. But the first thing you want to do is plug it in, make sure that electrical plug fits. Unplug the old one, plug in the new one. Here's the old one. This was the factory original. You can tell it's gotten some wear to it at 120,000 miles. It should have. That's the kind of plug we're dealing with. Here is the new Downstream one. When you buy quality products, they'll have a cover over it, just like quality spark plugs do. Jeez, that almost looks used, doesn't it? No kidding. What the hell's going on? I'm going back to AutoZone. This looks used. It looks like it's been through heat. And I didn't look at the box when I first bought it, and there's some grease salve on there already. It's only a couple mile drive. I'm going back there. I gotta find out what's going on. Alright, so I went back into the store and I had them show me a different one. Same model, same part. To see if it looked like it was already used. It looked used because of the heat. And the Upstream one came in a plastic bag and didn't have a heat issue to it. And it gave me a separate grease to put on the threads. This one already had it on. So this one looked used, but I went in there and he showed me a different one of the same product number, and he goes, yeah, it's just somewhere different than like that. So yeah, that's the way it is. No problem at all. It's always good to know. So I guess that's something to keep your eye out for when you're out replacing this part, is if it looks used. I guess I would still question it, but question it at the counter. Don't wait till you get home like I did. Okay, this lock's a little tricky, but here's how this lock works. This is for the downstream one. You slide it down to release that tab. So it's got to go that way. And then, I'm trying to do this with one hand. And then it should pull out. Alright, we figured out the trick. Where'd that go? Let's see if I can do this. There's some parts in the way. What you gotta do is slide this red tab towards my palm of my hand, and then push this button in right here. Push that in, and then it comes out just like that. Piece of cake. And as you can see, the new one fits. So we're gonna go ahead and pull out the old one and put the new one in. While we're down here, we're gonna take a look at the wiring. Just do a visual check. It's been a while since I've been down here. Here's the Upstream one. I already did that one. And just take a look at different things while you're down here. And your other sensors. Make sure that they're plugged in. And there ain't no problems. We're gonna go and remove the old one, put the new one in. Here's this old one. It looks just like the Upstream that was in there. Oh. And it came out pretty easy. That's the one closest to your muffler. There's the muffler. And that's where it came from. That's 120,000 miles as far as I know, because it doesn't show up in any of my auto repair records. There's no need to crank on these, just get it till it gets tight. And just a little bit more. Of course, once you see the connection fits, then put the part in and then go and hook your electrical back up. Here's the old Downstream out. It's definitely old. What amazes me is it's a lot like the Upstream. Not much difference. The factory ones, you can tell they always have the lock on them. That came from the factory. White one's Downstream. In case you guys get mixed up and you're doing them both at the same time instead of one at a time. White's the Downstream. Black is Upstream. Downstream means it's closest to the catalytic converter. Upstream means it's closest to the engine. And I'll put a picture showing the parts that I bought with the prices. Again, this is one of those repairs. This is one of those repairs that requires no skill level. Very easy to do. All you need is a good 7/8 open end wrench. And the part's about $45 for the Downstream, and the Upstream I think was $60, right around there. Alright, that was too easy. Give me something with some challenge to it. If there was anything tricky, it was unlocking it, really unlocking the connector. Make sure when you route your wires that they're not touching the exhaust in any way, even after vibration or road wind. You don't want it to ever rest against, so make sure you use the connectors, the little locks that keep it to the frame, and so it's not wobbling in the wind. You don't want that to ever hit the exhaust and have it start melting the protection on the wires, the insulation. You'll start having issues really quickly if you do. So mount it with thought in mind as for the electrical connections, and that's why you want to screw it in before you connect it. But you always want to check that connection before you screw it in. You got that? It's pretty simple. And again, 7/8 wrench is what you're gonna need. 7/8. Mine weren't too tight. I was pretty impressed, pretty happy. Like I said, that was just all too easy. And another good tip: do it when you're it's best to do it on a cold engine. It's just easier that way. Plus, less chance that you're gonna like burn your arm or do anything stupid like that. It's just better. And that concludes the O2 sensor replacement I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot to show you. It's pretty easy. Just kick back here doing all editing for this, and yeah, either way, that went pretty smooth. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for watching the repair. I hope everything goes well. And like I said, it's super, super easy. If you had to pay somebody to do this, both O2 sensors, you're looking about just under $100 in parts, and they'd probably charge you another 50 to 100 for labor. And plus, if you wait too long and your vehicle doesn't start and you're not able to get it somewhere to get it fixed, then you're gonna have to pay an extra tow fee also. So consider all that. It's just better to do preventive maintenance, no doubt about that at all. If you've got 100,000 miles on that part, go ahead and change it. Simple as that. With that, I say thank you everybody for being here and watching. If you like the channel, subscribe. We're going in new directions and lots of things happening here. So come along for the ride. Take care, everybody. Peace. May you have another awesome special week with positive vibrations, and spread those positive vibrations to others. Make other people happy. It makes the world a whole lot smoother place to be.